I know that a huge part of my understanding of what love was, my interpretation of what marriage would be like, came from media.
I think if you go into a relationship with any expectations, you're setting yourself up for failure, though.
Yeah. We are conditioned by society through media, song, movie, TV, this portrayal of a fictitious fantasy type of love. And it's just that's not what it is.
Free to be me, free to sing, sweet feathers envelop me like a hug.
The Safe to Be Seen podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Darcy and Brandon Burke do not claim to be experts. We have no intention to defend our beliefs or impose them onto others. This podcast provides a space to allow for us to share with others what it's like to be us. We desire to share our human journey with others. We advise you to seek professional counsel, therapy, and/or treatment from trained, credentialed, and certified professionals for any emotional, mental, and/or physical conditions you may be experiencing. When you consider your romantic relationship, are you ready to turn your fear into love, your judgment into curiosity, what seems like drudgery and work into play, your attachment into authenticity, your codependence into sovereignty? Are you ready to laugh more, sing and dance more, have mind-blowing sex, the kind where you meet the divine when you make love? Are you ready to connect on a level that you could have never imagined, first to yourself and then to your partner? Are you ready to start living? Are you ready to love and be loved without conditions, without keeping score? Are you ready to be seen and to see your partner? If you answered yes to the above, sign up for our couples retreat, More Than Love, held in a luxurious 7,000 square foot cabin in Bryan Head, Utah, September 19th through the 21st. Having divine union with your partner is not only possible, you deserve it. But it takes work. It takes understanding how and why you've been stuck in unconscious loops and patterns that were created long ago to keep you safe and to protect you, and how all of that protective armor around your heart is now weighing you down. It's preventing you from breathing. It's keeping you playing small. It's preventing connection to your higher self and to your partner. It's time to take off the masks. It's time to put the armor down. It's time to discover your authentic self. It's time to create true safety. Safety for you to be you and for your partner to be them. At this 3-day retreat, you will learn the why behind the loops and patterns that create disconnection from yourself and your partner. How to bring to your conscious awareness why you are the way you are and why your partner is the way they are. How to discover your unconscious wounding and how to heal it. How to effectively handle rupture and repair. How to heal, comfort, hold, and love your inner child. How to integrate your shadow. How to get out of your head and into your body so that you can be present. How to feel safe in your body. How to get good at feeling your feelings and sensations and to understand that they are messengers for you, trying to give you important information. How to progress toward authentic living. How to handle the delicate dance of sovereignty and connection. How to heal your sexuality. How to regulate your nervous system. How to manage your triggers. How to step into your divine masculine and feminine. If you're ready to feel safe to be seen, if you want more than love, this retreat is for you. So click on the link in the show notes to apply. Welcome to another edition of Safe to Be Seen. We are so grateful to be here with you. Darcy, how are you?
Doing awesome today.
It's so good to be with you.
You too.
I'm so excited about this episode. It's going to be super fun.
It is going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll jump into the topic and the content in just a little bit. But first of all, we had the most amazing weekend. I mean, I'm really trying hard not to over dramatize it, but it was one of the most incredible weekends of my life. It was one of the funnest things I've ever done, we've ever done together as a couple.
It was all the things that you love.
What?
It was all the things that you love.
What? Like what?
Coffee.
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Well, at the top of the list, me.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Where are you? Why aren't you including you?
Me first.
Yes.
Coffee. Ocean.
Yes.
Yoga.
Yeah. On the beach.
Meditating.
On the beach.
Reggae. And dancing.
Yeah,
and singing.
Yeah. You know, we went to a 2-day music festival called Cali Vibes. mostly reggae music, but there were some notable, amazing non-reggae artists.
Mm-hmm.
Cypress Hill. Oh my gosh. Insane in the Brain.
I hadn't heard that song in the longest time.
Oh my gosh.
And all these adults out there going at it, listening to that song.
Like most people our age, you know,
Yeah.
like knowing by heart.
Do our kids know that song?
I don't know. We need to find out.
We need to find out, yeah.
Ludacris was there
Yep.
in all his glory.
Mm-hmm.
And Kid Cudi were some of our favorite like non-reggae artists, but some of our favorite reggae artists were at the top of the list. Stick Figure,
Mm-hmm.
Aeration, Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
Little Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
They're always fun.
Yep.
And we found a new band that we fell in love with that we hadn't heard of. We didn't know. Denim. You guys,
They're amazing.
if you're interested, if you like kind of a reggae, kind of grungy reggae vibe, check out Denim. It's Denim.
So good.
They were amazing.
How have we not heard of them before?
I don't know, but ever since we got back, I've had all his songs on repeat.
Yeah, you have.
I have not turned it off.
And Sloss Revenge, hello.
Oh, Dirty Heads. Oh my, how could I forget Dirty Heads?
Oh my gosh, when they started playing that song.
Your
I was
song came on. We were in the middle of like thousands of people by the stage. And Darcy's song came on. Sloth's Revenge. Goonies Never Say Die.
The chorus is the best.
You want to sing it for us?
Not right now, maybe
Oh, okay.
later.
Okay. Yeah, we had a blast.
It was
But
so fun.
yeah, what was it like for you? Like, what did you think?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so fun just to listen to music, be at the
Yeah.
beach. Probably the funnest part was actually watching you dance and being so free and expressive. And, we had several people over the 2 days come up to us and come up to you and be like, you are such a vibe. And the guy at the Tyler, as you were going to get your like 75th bottle of water because you couldn't stop dancing,
I needed to hydrate.
was like, there's Brandon dancing Brandon again.
Spilling his waters all over the place. Oh boy, here he comes again. He was funny. It was fun to connect with him because we saw him a lot.
Yeah.
We had to buy all of our water from him, and it was really fun. We had a blast.
So fun. With some really good friends.
Yeah, we went with a couple that we enjoy hanging out with, and
such good conversation.
yeah,
It was so fun.
perfect weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time. So, well, awesome. So, I'm really excited about today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are going to jump into kind of the beginnings of our relationship.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be fun to maybe just kind of unscripted and organically talk about the beginning days, how and when we met, dating, those beginning years. So
Yeah. We want to start talking about relationships. There's so many topics we want to talk about
yeah,
with relationship, and how much, especially these past few years, that we have learned about relationship that we had no idea about, and really how to thrive in the second half of your life, in your marriage, in your relationship. I see so many people in the second half of their life with their marriage just, it kind of becomes dull and boring, and there's no more excitement or passion or fun. And it doesn't have to be that way.
yeah,
And we feel like we've learned some really good tools and ways to help with that. So
Mhm.
we're excited to talk about that over the course of several episodes
yeah.
having to do with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And we're no experts, that's for sure.
Oh no, we're not experts, but
We're figuring this out along with
Yeah, we're
everybody
having-
else.
we're having a lot of fun figuring it out though.
Yeah.
And our hope and our intention is to continue to grow
Mhm.
individually, together as a team, as a partnership, and maybe along the way, if we can, share
Mhm.
what has helped us, what has been useful and helpful for us in connecting
Yeah.
on a deeper level. So yeah. Well, good. So let's go back to the beginning of Darcy and Brandon.
28 years ago?
Yeah, 1997. Summer of 1997. I had just graduated high school from Emory High School. Go Spartans. And it was a summer day. A few buddies of mine and myself, we decided, we were bored, and we decided, let's go to Price, Utah.
Where all the excitement happens.
Price was the big city back then.
To you, it was.
Yeah, I mean, we used to buy our shoes at Payless, and we used to get, if we went, you knew life was good when my mom took us to Little Caesars Pizza in Price. Like,
it was a good day for the Burke family.
oh my gosh!
And then you got to stop at Walmart on the way home.
And if we got to stop at McDonald's and get a hot fudge sundae with nuts, it just didn't get any better. So
yes.
Anyway, yeah, Price was the big deal. Growing up in Farron, Utah. So anyway, a few buddies of mine, we decide to go visit another friend of ours who was living in Price at the time. A kid that we had grown up with. He lived right down the street from me. Knew him from as long as I could remember. We literally grew up together, and he had moved over to Price right after graduating high school, and we decided to go visit him. Thing is we didn't have phones back then, of course. So we just jumped in the car, drove the 40 miles from Farron to Price, and knocked on his door. He was staying in the dorms on the campus of the College of Eastern Utah. And unfortunately, actually very, very fortunately, as you will find out, he was not home. And we were like, dang, now what do we do? And as soon as I remember very vividly, as soon as we were done knocking on his door and realized he wasn't home, and we turned to walk away from his dorm, we heard music, loud outdoor music from a little bit away, but we could definitely make it out and hear it well enough. So we kind of just, like a couple of mice, following the trail of cheese. We just followed wherever the music was coming from. And it was coming from a courtyard area on the campus, outdoors. And as soon as we approached this area, we realized we had hit the jackpot, because it was a huge dance occurring. And we found out later that it was hundreds of high school student government students from around the state of Utah that had convened and gathered at the College of Eastern Utah for some convention of some kind, I guess.
Yeah,
and they were
camp
having
that week.
A camp. Yeah. And they were having a dance that night. And man, we were like, oh yeah, here we go. Me and my buddies.
But this is before you were a dancer.
I know. I didn't know.
You just kind of stood on the sidelines and...
I don't even think I did the sway, back then.
No, not even the sway.
I think I stood there with my arms folded. And
just gave the eye.
Gave the eye, kind of scoped things out I was really special and top dog. But yeah, I remember it vividly, so clearly, like it was yesterday, that there were a lot of people there. There were several very nice looking young ladies. And as I'm kind of scanning the premises, I see the most beautiful person I had ever seen. And it was as if you were glowing amongst all these people, and just really caught me and you were how do you remember it? How far away were you from me?
I don't know.
At least, 100 feet or so. We weren't right next to each other. I kind of saw you from across the way, 100 feet or so away. And just like, whoa, we got to
Mhm.
meet that girl. So, that's how I remember. Like that was my experience up to that point. Now you take it from there.
Yeah. Well, I had known who you were because our high schools were huge rivals.
Yeah.
And a few months before, during basketball season, Carbon was playing Emory. So I drove down to Emory High School with my friends to watch this big game. It was like a huge game when Carbon played Emory. And I was just a sophomore, towards the end of my sophomore year. And so we go to watch the basketball game, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, wait, who is number 5? Who is this guy? Just so good looking and so athletic. And I mean, that's all I knew about you at that point.
It was all physical.
It was all physical. It was absolutely all physical. And I was like telling my friends, who is this person? Who is this guy? So good looking. And I don't think any of them knew who you were. So I didn't even know what your name was. And then I remember I made my friends wait with me after the basketball game to wait for you to walk out of the locker room out onto the court to see if I could somehow get your attention. And you walk out and you walk right into the arms of your girlfriend to give her a big hug. And I was like, no, why?
Yeah.
And so anyways, but still, I was just like, I got to meet this guy. But I thought there would ever be a chance. We didn't go to the same schools. We lived over an hour away from each other. And so that night so me and my friends were on that summer day. So this was like 4 months later during the summertime.
Like the night we met.
The night we met, yeah. And my friend was a part of that student government camp. And we were with her during the day. She was like, hey, you guys should come with me to this dance tonight. And, as you know, small town, we're like, heck yeah.
Yeah. It's either go to this dance or go swim in the canal.
Yep.
So let's go to the dance. Yeah.
Swimming in the canal was awesome.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, so all my friends, we just on the spot, like didn't even go get ready or anything. I think we were just hanging out at somebody's house and we just left right from there and went to the dance. And we walked in and some of my friends had been there already. And they ran out to me and they were like, Darcy, you will never believe who is here. Because they knew that I had a crush on you. And I was like, who? And they're like, Brandon Burke. And I was like, shut up. No way. And I saw you sitting over on the stairs, just in like your, arms folded, just scanning the room and,
Yeah.
And I was so happy. I was so excited that you were there.
Yeah.
Just got chills and just was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's here. I hope that he asks me to dance. And then
I sure did.
you asked me to dance.
As soon as I saw the glow emanating from your being, as I remember it, I want to hear how you remember it, but I was just I locked eyes with, like we locked eyes. And I was like, I started walking. I remember walking toward you, but also very kind of arrogantly. I like motioned you over.
Yep. And I was like, yep, I'm coming.
I like, come on. I see you looking at me. Come over here, And so we met up, on the dance floor and we danced. And the first song we ever danced to was Tim McGraw's Don't Take the Girl.
Yep. And now you have that tattooed on you.
Right above my heart.
Don't take the girl. So
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, and then we danced and we danced and we danced and you invited me to go to Lake Powell with you. I was like, whoa, easy. Settle
I
down.
was a 16-year-old Twitter-pated teenage girl who just got to meet her biggest crush. It was the best night of my life.
Oh. Yeah, it was really fun.
I was so happy, so excited.
Yeah.
And then you got my digits.
I know.
What was my number?
435-637-9248.
Nice.
Home phone, though. No cell phones back then. So
No
when I
cell
called,
phones.
there was a good chance that Big Doug was going to answer the phone, and I was going to have to navigate that situation.
Yeah, kids have it so easy these days.
I
They have to
know.
avoid all conversations with parents when
Yep.
answering the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I remember sometimes calling your home and waking your dad up,
Oh, no.
and that was not good.
No.
Because he worked graveyards.
Yeah,
But I just had to talk to you.
I know.
And then it was like you had to get the extension cord or the phone that was hooked up to the wall
Yeah.
with the huge cords.
Yeah.
12-foot long cords.
So you could sneak
Take
it
him into the closet,
sneak
shut
into
the
a different room
closet door.
and think that no one could hear you.
And the worst part, well, actually, we had a cordless phone. We were top dog.
Oh, yeah.
We had a cordless.
There were no cordless phones in the Burke house.
But the bad part about the cordless was that if you had two cordless, if somebody picked up a cordless while you were talking, they could put it on mute
I remember
and they could
that.
hear
They
your
could
entire
listen in.
conversation.
Yeah.
I have a feeling my brothers listened in on a lot of conversations
Ooh,
we had.
man.
Oh, well.
I didn't think about that. Oh, well. Yeah, but I remember too, like, it was a really interesting feeling for me
Mhm.
because it wasn't like anything. I mean, obviously we're both young, relatively inexperienced, you especially,
Mhm.
but in relationships and things, but it was this very calm kind of it was very exciting, but it
Mhm.
was like not, it was just so different for me. It was like a very comfortable, familiar kind of feeling
Yeah.
in meeting you and dancing with you, and it was interesting for me because I had just recently, having graduated high school, I had just recently broken up with my high school girlfriend.
Thank God.
Well, yeah, I know, but we were going off to different colleges, and I was getting ready to prepare for my mission,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't really want a relationship right now. And then you happened. I met you, and it was a really unique thing for me, though, compared to like my teenage, relationships, which I didn't have many, but like, it was very like it wasn't forced.
Yeah.
It was like, it was just different for
Yeah,
me.
for me too. I never had a serious boyfriend before. You were only my second kiss, actually.
Mm.
I just never really found any. I mean, I was young too. I was just finishing my sophomore year, but
Yeah.
yeah, I remember telling somebody, it was just not too long ago, about meeting you. And I just remember, I remember saying to her, he just felt familiar to me.
Mm.
His smell, his presence, there was just something familiar about you to me. And maybe that's how soulmates recognize each other.
Yeah.
I like to think of it that way.
Yeah, I love that. And also, if you think about the circumstances, like we on this day of all days, we randomly decide to go visit my friend who, like, if how everything lined up,
Mhm.
it's remarkable, really.
Mhm.
Like, if he had not been living in Price, if he had not been living in Price on the campus of
Mhm.
CEU,
Mm-hmm.
if he had not been living in Price on the campus of CEU and not been home,
Yeah. All the stars aligned. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. But yeah, so from there, we kind of casually dated. Like, it took us a while to kiss for the first time. How do you remember that?
I think it was only like a couple dates in.
Well, that was a while for me. That was a while. No, but I just remember like not being like, I just had such a different feeling with you.
Mm.
It was like you commanded, or I should say you demanded, unspoken, just your presence, respect.
Mm.
And I felt that, and I was like, oh, this girl's very different.
Mm.
I'm not going to like just try to kiss her right, immediately, or like, let's take this slow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we weren't an exclusive thing
No.
for a while. Like we
Well,
weren't
I was
actually never. In those early years. Like,
yeah. I mean, then I turned 17 my junior year.
yeah,
I went to all my high school dances with other
yeah,
guys. You went to your college dances with other girls.
Yeah.
I feel like we were pretty mature about it.
yeah.
I mean, you didn't want me missing out on my high school experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew you were getting ready to leave on your mission and preparing for that. So it was fun. It didn't feel heavy. It didn't
Mm-mm.
feel pressure. I didn't feel controlled or, it was just very fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I fell in love with you for sure.
I did too. I mean, that's why, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going away on a mission here in a few months and I'm falling for this girl.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really also, for me, it was very unique in that I didn't, as you were dating other people and, eventually I go on my mission, and again, there's no pressure, there's no forcing, there's no like commitments being made. And very, I think, uncharacteristically for me, which again, I look back as like something that made this happen for us,
Mm-hmm.
was that I didn't feel any jealousy. I didn't feel any insecurity. I didn't feel any fear about you dating other people and about me leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I felt very comfortable and very confident that everything was going to work out
Yeah.
just right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I went on my mission and we wrote every week. And,
Mm-hmm.
back then we only got 2 phone calls a year,
Yep.
Christmas and Mother's Day. And you just happened to be at my house, my parents' house when I called. So we got to talk a couple times a year on my mission. And
It was fun writing letters. I feel like we got to know each other on a different level.
it was so,
A weekly letter. I looked forward to it. I was like, became best friends with the mailman.
yeah.
Mom, has the mailman come today? And I knew exactly the time that he was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get a letter from you with that week, I was devastated.
But you did most weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to write you every week.
Mm-hmm. That was so fun.
Yeah.
We still have all those letters saved.
Yeah.
We need to break those out sometimes and show them to
Let's
the
break
kids.
them out.
And then we also talked into tapes to each other.
Little tape recorders we had.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got to find those.
I
Those
know.
would be fun to listen to
So
now.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got home from your mission. And I remember the night you got home, you were basically like, so are we going to do this thing? And I was like, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Like, you were so young.
I was so young.
Were you feeling like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, let's take this slow, or like,
No, I was in love with you.
yeah.
I dated while you were on your mission. It was just the fears and I was so young still. I mean, this is embarrassing to say, but I was 19 when we got married. Almost 20. I was a few weeks away from turning 20.
Yeah.
Only 1 year of college behind me, but when you know, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I do know.
So, yeah, that was a fun time. I think everybody gets a little bit nervous
Yeah.
before they get married and make that huge commitment.
Yeah.
Especially when you're super young. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
scary.
For
But-
sure. And I think it's actually, if you knew, and we'll get into all of this, like
Mhm.
in this episode and in several future episodes, if you knew the challenges, the trials, the heartache that lied ahead,
Mhm.
you might not jump into it.
Mm.
And so I think it's natural to feel like you got to have some kind of like, oh, I don't know about this, like some kind of maybe hesitancy or some kind of reservation, some kind of nerves, some kind of fear.
Yep.
Because it's like, here we go. We're getting married. So we got married. We got engaged a month after I got home. Married 3 months later. So 4 months after I was home from my mission, we were married. Went on a little honeymoon to San Diego. And the day after we got home from our honeymoon, started college.
Yep.
Both of our second years of college at what was then Dixie State College. So is there anything else you want to add? And we just wanted to go over the beginning, like how we met, beginning chapters of our relationship. But
yeah, just brought back a lot of memories, thinking back to that time so long ago. And it's wild to look back and just see how much we've changed and evolved, and we are not even the same person at all from when we were first married.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some things, but
we have in our bedroom on my nightstand and next to our tub, we have pictures of us, our engagement pictures. And I don't know about you. Do you ever look at those and just kind of get your mind blown? When you think about our evolution and our change and our growth, and both individually and together. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
It is.
To look at those people and be like,
they had no idea what they were doing.
No idea. No idea. And like I said, sometimes I think it's a good thing, because although the light and the love and the bliss are more than worth it. I think it's, unfortunately, to get there is so much work.
So much work.
And it's so difficult and so challenging that it's probably good that 19-year-old Darcy didn't know what she was getting into. Yeah. But and it's kind of it's interesting to look at, for example, those pictures, those engagement pictures of us. And for me, I think about that version of me, that 21-year-old Brandon, fresh off a Mormon mission. And I think about the way I viewed love then, the way I viewed marriage and relationship. And it's not lost on me that, like, although, I had my parents to look to and other great examples, I know that a huge part of my understanding of what love was, my interpretation of what marriage would be like, came from media.
Movies and music.
Yeah. Like this fantasy fiction presentation to me and to all of us through movies and TV and music. And, we didn't have internet, but now internet of what love is and what relationship is. And, I'm taken back to, I don't remember the year, I'd have to look, but when the movie Jerry Maguire came out.
Oh, yeah.
I think I want to say I was in high school, maybe like late junior high, early high school. So maybe sometime, I'm just guessing, but sometime around 1995. Okay. But just to give you an idea, I'm like probably between like 14 and 16, something like that. And this movie comes out. It's a huge hit. Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger.
I didn't watch it. It was rated R.
It was rated R. You were out.
I was out of that. I didn't watch that till I was...
last year. Last year, you started watching rated R's.
No. But it's been within the past 10 years.
I know. I think last year was the first time.
It was not.
Okay. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I watched Jerry Maguire in high school. But I remember this scene where Tom Cruise, who plays Jerry Maguire, comes into the house. You know, he and Renee Zellweger, her character is Dorothy. So Dorothy's at the house. Tom and her are married, but their marriage is on the rocks. Like, he's working too much. He's always gone traveling with his work. He's a sports agent, you know, and so he's always gone, and they're really struggling. And he comes home from a trip, kind of comes into the house, and in the house, in the living room, is his wife, Dorothy, but also, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 other women. They're having like some kind of girls' party or something. I don't know what they're doing, and he comes in, he's like, I'm looking for my wife. Where is my wife? She was kind of crouched down away. He couldn't see her, you know? So anyway, she pops up. He just like locks into her and gives her this beautiful, like, do you remember? Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Gives her this beautiful kind of apology and like expression of love. But he ends it, the way he ends it, it's like, I'll never forget. He said, you complete me. And I thought, that is so beautiful. That's what I want. I want a girl who will complete me. And anyway, yeah, what's been your experience with, like, do you feel like you were impacted by media?
Yeah.
In any way, as you know, as far as what marriage would be, or what relationship would be, or what love was?
Yeah, I mean, I only had, so I have 3 older sisters, and so I only had 1 older sister that was married. And I just had that. I had my parents' relationship. I had what I had learned at church about what love and marriage is. And then just the romantic movies that all girls love watching growing up, about their Prince Charming sweeping them off their feet, and this perfect fairy tale relationship and wedding day and marriage and riding off into eternal bliss. You know, every young girl's hopes and dreams when it comes to romantic relationships. Yeah. I loved all those romantic movies and just dreamed about that and wanted that. And yeah.
That's tough for me to live up to. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
well, we thought it'd be fun to also, like, in addition to like movies and TV, music had a huge impact on me. Maybe most of it kind of subconsciously, but the lyrics in like all love songs from the time that I grew up, like the era that I grew up in, listening to a lot of the songs that were big hits, dealing with like love. Now when I listen to them, I'm like, whoa. And
codependency.
So, yeah, it's codependency and attachment and like enmeshment and like,
I can't survive without you.
Yeah, like kind of like Jerry Maguire, like, I need you to complete me. I'm not good enough without you.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy. So we thought it'd be fun to play a few of those, just brief little excerpts, and you guys get to hear Darcy's amazing singing voice. So, okay.
That was a mock.
No, I love your singing voice. So let's start with this one. You ready? Okay.
If I don't know I might not know all the words. You get the words.
That's not a cop-out. I mean, that's a cop-out.
You're looking at the words.
Well,
I'll join in if I know the words.
Oh my gosh. You're not going to sing, are you?
Yes, I will. Okay, I know this one.
You recognize it? Oh, this one's so good. Let's go to this. Let's go here. My life, there's been heartache and pain.
Good job, babe.
I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. That's a good one, though.
Yep.
I love that song. All right. Ooh, you can't go wrong with Bon Jovi.
No. Always?
Yeah. This one was huge.
Oh, yeah. Bon Jovi was... I played him all the time. On my CD.
Yeah. On your compact disc?
My compact... No, I listen to CDs, babe.
Your what?
CDs.
Yeah, compact disc.
Oh, yeah. I don't know the beginning.
This Romeo is bleeding,
I just know the chorus.
but you can't see his blood. It's nothing but some feelings that this old dog kicked up.
Nice.
It's been raining since you left me.
Now I'm drowning in the flood.
You see, I've always been a fighter, but without you, I give up. I can sing a love song like the way it's meant to be. Well, I guess I'm not that good anymore. So baby, that's just me, and I will love you, baby, always. That's a good one.
I love Bon Jovi.
Oh, that's so good.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
Is he still performing?
We should have him as a guest.
Yes, we should.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we should mention like what's wrong. Like, what are we talking about with those songs? Like, what do you get out of those the messages in those lyrics? Like,
I can't survive without you. I have to have you to complete me.
mm-hmm.
I'm not good without you. I mean, some of the songs are complete up stalker songs.
Yeah, let's go to one. Ready? Let's do a stalker song. This one's so good.
So good. I'm sad that we labeled it a stalker song now.
Listen, I'm sorry, Sting. Like, you need to back off a little bit. A little obsessive. Every breath you take. My voice is...
Every move
you go, babe.
You make.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
the
go.
words.
Every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Okay, that's good.
Wait, one more. This is the best part.
Oh,
can't you see you belong to me? Okay. So, what's wrong with that song?
He's stalking her.
Well, yeah, and you don't belong to me.
Anyone.
Like, you are your own.
Mm-hmm. You belong to self.
And we are like, we've chosen to be together in partnership, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but
Yeah.
okay.
But listen, if you love that song, you should. It's good.
It's one of my favorite songs of all time. My point is, we are conditioned by society through media, song, movie, TV, this portrayal of a fictitious fantasy type of love. And that's not what it is.
No, it is not.
It's not.
You
And
learn very quickly.
We'll get into that, but yeah. When you consider your romantic relationship, are you ready to turn your fear into love, your judgment into curiosity, what seems like drudgery and work into play, your attachment into authenticity, your codependence into sovereignty? Are you ready to laugh more, sing and dance more, have mind-blowing sex, the kind where you meet the divine when you make love? Are you ready to connect on a level that you could have never imagined, first to yourself and then to your partner? Are you ready to start living? Are you ready to love and be loved without conditions, without keeping score? Are you ready to be seen and to see your partner? If you answered yes to the above, sign up for our couples retreat, More Than Love, held in a luxurious 7,000 square foot cabin in Bryan Head, Utah, September 19th through the 21st. Having divine union with your partner is not only possible, You deserve it. But it takes work. It takes understanding how and why you've been stuck in unconscious loops and patterns that were created long ago to keep you safe and to protect you, and how all of that protective armor around your heart is now weighing you down. It's preventing you from breathing. It's keeping you playing small. It's preventing connection to your higher self and to your partner. It's time to take off the masks. It's time to put the armor down. It's time to discover your authentic self. It's time to create true safety. Safety for you to be you and for your partner to be them. At this 3-day retreat, you will learn the why behind the loops and patterns that create disconnection from yourself and your partner. How to bring to your conscious awareness why you are the way you are and why your partner is the way they are. How to discover your unconscious wounding and how to heal it. How to effectively handle rupture and repair. How to heal, comfort, hold, and love your inner child. How to integrate your shadow. How to get out of your head and into your body so that you can be present. How to feel safe in your body. How to get good at feeling your feelings and sensations and to understand that they are messengers for you, trying to give you important information. How to progress toward authentic living. How to handle the delicate dance of sovereignty and connection. How to heal your sexuality. How to regulate your nervous system. How to manage your triggers. How to step into your divine masculine and feminine. If you're ready to feel safe to be seen, if you want more than love, this retreat is for you. So click on the link in the show notes to apply. Anyway, the point is lots of messaging going on and conditioning about.
And that even, it's like unconsciously programmed in you
Yeah.
that's how love is and how it should be.
Yeah.
And then you go into marriage and it's not that. And you're like, what? What's
Yeah.
wrong with us?
Yeah. Or it is like that. It plays out like that.
Yeah.
Only
Unhealthy attachments and
until there's a breaking point. Until there's something happens that, tips the scales in favor of either this is ending, this is not working, or let's make some changes.
Yeah. So what did you think love was going into our marriage?
I wrote down some things. I hope it's okay. Can I take a peek at some notes? Because I wanted to make sure I got everything. But, and some of this, this is very vulnerable. This is somewhat embarrassing, but this is that 21-year-old version of Brandon for whom I have a lot of compassion and to whom I offer grace and a lot of love. He was doing the best he could at that time. And but as I thought back to that, again, I literally looked at the picture of me in that engagement photo and I thought, what did you think this was going to be? And this is what I came up with. Ownership. Meaning, kind of like the song we just listened to, like, you belong to me. Like, I'm taking you to a sacred edifice in which we will be, by a holy sacred power of God, we will be like given to each other. So contractual, bound by covenant, transactional, responsible for each other's emotions.
I'm not okay if you're not okay, type thing.
Obligatory. A license to have all the passionate sex I could handle. I think I had this notion that, our marriage would be blessed and accepted by God, but only if we lived righteously and if we were worthy of it. I had a lot of ideas about like gender roles.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Maguire, I had this notion, this very, very deep conditioning and belief, I guess you could say, that you would complete me, like that you would make me whole. You would be my better half. I felt like I would need you to fulfill my needs and to love me in a certain way for me to be okay. I think I believed that, that again, referring back to that engagement picture, that the representation of those two people, like that, of course, I understood that there would be some growing and learning and progressing, but that those two people, Darcy 19, Brandon 21, would essentially always be as is. In other words, I didn't understand the need for human evolvement, for change in that, in that way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, I think I believe that, like, we're in this thing together. So we do the same things. Like we will follow the same path, and I think that I was very much a forcer of outcomes. Not, I was not like, controlling in any kind of overt way. But I know that I had no idea what it meant to just flow.
Mm-hmm.
I was always trying to, like, I had an expected outcome in mind
Mm-hmm.
of what, how things should be, how things should look in all areas of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always trying to, like, make that happen,
Mm-hmm.
like literally force it,
Yeah.
So how about you?
Yeah.
What were some ideas or beliefs or thoughts you had going into marriage about what love was and about what marriage would be like?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I had like a really healthy example of marriage, like with my parents. I didn't see them fight a whole lot. They showed affection to each other. They made marriage look fun. There was a lot of laughing, and they spent time with each other and with friends. So I feel like I just kind of like expected that same thing. And there was, cultural and religious beliefs that I had about going into marriage of, I expected you to fulfill a certain role that was taught by the church that men should fulfill in the church. So there was very much these roles that I felt like we each had to fulfill, and that if we didn't, that our marriage was going to fall apart. And I had no idea about sovereignty in marriage. There was a lot of like enmeshment, and let's see, I'm looking at my notes too. Yeah, it was kind of like a place where I just felt like, because of my role, my needs were kind of minimal, and a lot of like self-sacrifice and a self-abandonment for the betterment of serving you, serving our family, serving our kids. Looked at that as like my role.
Yeah.
Also very much tied to just this forever promise that if we do things a certain way, that we will be blessed for it and receive an award after this life.
Yeah.
I felt like I probably, I had no idea about embodiment or any concept of like how to handle rupture and repair. I probably thought going to marriage that if we fought, there was something wrong with us, and contentions of the devil, and so don't allow that in anywhere. There must be something wrong with our marriage if we have arguments.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll never get mad at me ever. What? yeah, I had no idea what to expect sexually. And that's going to be a whole nother episode.
Or several.
Several. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just had cultural and religious expectations based upon how I grew up, based upon what I was taught. And not all bad.
No.
You know, there's good in there too.
Yeah.
But I think if you go into a relationship with any expectations, you're setting yourself up for failure, though.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where we found ourselves getting into some situations that we didn't know how to manage because we had these expectations of each other.
Yeah.
And when those weren't fulfilled, it was disappointing, and ruptures would happen, but then we didn't know how to properly repair those ruptures. So, yeah. They always say the first year of marriage is the hardest. Would you agree with that?
No. Not at all.
Really?
No. The hardest by far for me, the hardest time during our marriage was when I had begun to awaken to my truth, to the pain I had been feeling but shoving down in an attempt to be strong, in an attempt to be the provider and the protector, in an attempt to avoid full vulnerability. When I started to awaken to the understanding that I had actually been hurting a lot inside, and therefore hurting others, you. That was, and then the subsequent work that began. That was just the beginning. It was like the awareness.
Yeah.
Then when doing the work, that was
hard.
That's been the hardest, but it's been coupled with the most beautiful part of our marriage. Like it's just this beautiful dance that goes on.
Yeah.
So,
and I think too that when we started healing individually, it brought to our awareness a lot of things that we needed to heal as a couple.
Yeah.
And that just opened like Pandora's box.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that quote by Carl Jung that says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And we had been living so unaware of our patterns.
Yeah.
And of this unconscious playbook that we had been running off for most of our marriage.
Yeah.
And not knowing why. So yeah, it was challenging, but it taught us so much, and it led us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best place we've ever been in our marriage.
Yeah. I don't think probably, I think for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, our connection is deep. And it's been the result of many years of unconscious looping patterns that we were just unaware of. And getting in and doing the work and working on rewiring those patterns it's been very difficult. It's been very challenging, very painful, but it's been so beautiful.
So worth it. Yeah. And
consequently our connection to doing that work has been it's been amazing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to also talk about, we talked about what we thought at Darcy 19, Brandon 21, what we thought love was or what marriage would look like. And then, talk just a little bit more about like we'll just touch on a few points, which will become their own podcast episodes. We will talk in depth about these points. But we wanted to just talk about a few points of what we now know love to be and what we now know romantic relationship, intimate relationship, marriage, partnership, whatever that looks like for you, what that looks like as well. So I'm gonna look at my notes again and just I think, okay, so at the top of my list, Darce, is that I had no idea that I could not give you what I didn't already have within me for me. Meaning, I really think that it's not possible to give another human being true compassion, empathy, grace, forgiveness, true, pure love, unless you have given it to yourself.
Yeah.
And I just lived just completely unaware of that, you know? And we'll get into all of this in more detail as we talk in other episodes about these things. But
yeah.
What about you? What's
One
something
for me is like it's a relationship between two full humans, not just roles.
Yeah.
You know? And last year we actually created our own ceremony where we rewrote our vows, and we called it our own sacred contract because we never had the opportunity to write our own vows. And I love that concept of that fluidity in marriage, of as you evolve and as you grow, of rewriting your sacred contracts as needed.
Yeah.
That was a really beautiful experience we had last year doing that.
So awesome.
And so it's been really beautiful for us to see the humanity in each other and not just look each other, not without the performance, without the roles, of just our raw, pure humanity. That's been really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. You next?
I put down next that true love doesn't try to change you or fix you, does not control, does not demand, does not expect, does not require reciprocity. That was a big one.
Very much transactional.
Yeah, I just, again, this awareness that came about of these things that we're now discussing, it was mind blowing. Like there was a lot of grief with it. To think that although that 21-year-old Brandon, and up until fairly recently, was doing his best, and yes, for sure, loved you deeply, accepting the truth that love that I did have was only to the depth that version of me could handle, could understand, could know. Does that make sense? And so there's a lot of grief in thinking, wow, I can't believe I've gone all these years not really fully understanding what true, pure, unconditional love is. Not needing to fix or change you, not needing to expect anything to be a certain way, or, you know, that's true love. That's unconditional love.
That's sovereign love.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. The concept of safety in relationship. You know, feeling safe to be you.
Yeah.
safe in your authentic expression, safe in your humanity. You know, I think a lot of times throughout our marriage, I very much tried to manage your emotions for you.
Yeah.
And probably vice versa. And that's just an attempt to make myself feel okay.
Yeah.
But that, you know, safety in marriage, especially for women, you know, women are so in tune, like the feminine divine of being so in tune with their emotions and the expression of their emotions and their intuition, and, you know, having a partner that is able to be contained and grounded while I am experiencing high levels of emotion sometimes without needing to fix or change me, but just allow me, just be present with me, grounded, stoic, safe, no matter my emotional state, has completely changed my experience with you. And that breeds a lot of connection in so many other aspects of marriage.
Yeah.
Safety is huge. I know it's a big thing for men too, but safety for women. You know, if you want your wife, your spouse, to be fully sexually expressed and to be vulnerable, to share their raw humanness with you, the masculine needs to be really grounded and present in their bodies to be able to hold that space. And I just don't think couples realize what that brings to a marriage. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know. We say it, you know, frequently, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And you know, my unconscious wiring and wounding and patterns were such that, you know, prior to becoming aware of these things, I took upon me as a personal, like, I did something. Have I done something wrong?
Yeah.
If you were having a bad day, or if, you know, you were having some difficult emotions, or if the kids were, really anybody in my life, but especially you, I had this programming, this wiring in me, in my nervous system, and just my inner child believing and feeling, actually literally feeling like I've got to fix this. Like, they're not okay because of probably because of me, and I can fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one. Oh, I love this next one. You are my sacred mirror. You are not the source of my pain. You are the revealer of my pain. You simply show me to me in the most beautiful, perfect way. And give me opportunity to look inward and to ask the deep, deep question of why, Brandon, is it that you are this way, or you feel this way? And as I've been able to, you know, do that kind of work and understand that you are my sacred mirror, it's helped me so much in doing my own inner work and not projecting onto you things that lie deep within me, fears, attachments, but to understand that that's my work.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah. I love a quote by James Hollis. And he says that relationship is not for happiness. Relationship is for fulfillment, and happiness is then a byproduct. And it's just been really big for me to understand that, like, by me looking inward and not like over analyzing you in how you do what you do or say what you say, or and instead just looking inward, how that has brought me so much more clarity, so much more awareness into my own work, which has then brought me more fulfillment and more happiness. What do you think?
So beautiful. Yeah. Another one for me is the ability to practice attunement without trying to change or fix your internal world, but just to, it's kind of like what I spoke to before, but just the language around attunement is so connecting in relationship. You know, I'm noticing that your energy has changed. Do you need some space? How can I best support you through this? You know, just us learning tools around vocabulary and practicing attunement with each other, of trying to sense your partner's inner world and not trying to fix it, but just be present with it and attune to it, has been really big for us.
Yeah. That's
you know,
good.
It takes so much more than love to sustain a relationship. It takes inner child work individually and together, of noticing when your inner child is speaking.
Yeah.
And it's usually during ruptures that those little kids come out.
Yeah.
And
They just want to be seen.
They just want to be seen
and
just
and heard and held and comforted and loved. And they come out. They come out to play.
Oh, they come out quite often.
Yeah.
But healing is relationship is the most sacred and the most beautiful space to heal your inner child. That is how you heal your inner child.
Yeah.
That is how you do it, is through your relationship.
Yeah.
And not as an obligation or as this is my responsibility, but as a sacred space to be able to do that in. It's so beautiful and so connecting.
Well, that's one of the things on my list of you know, things that I didn't realize at all, like completely unaware of how the nervous system of the child, the programming, the conditioning, the domestication, and ultimately the beliefs of the child, they will and do play out in your relationship.
Oh, yeah. Marriage is just basically two 12-year-olds trying to make it work. The most part.
In grown-up bodies.
Yeah.
With lots of demands and lots of pressures and stresses. But yeah, the ultimate, like the psyche sometimes, and definitely the nervous system of like 7 to 12-year-olds.
Yeah. That's all where all the programming takes place. By the time you're 12 years old, your system is programmed.
Yeah.
And from there, the work is unwiring it and becoming aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, love, it takes a lot more than love. Love is just the beginning. But love it must be coupled with vulnerability. It must be coupled with truth. It must be coupled with presence, accountability, courage. Those are the things that must go into that love that you feel for your partner in order to create that deep connection. You know, you want that intimacy, you want that deep connection, you want that incredible sex. Well, it takes a lot of work.
Outside of that.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any others?
Let's see. Just realizing that marriage is a sacred container to heal and to heal your inner child and to be seen in your wholeness. Not to have you complete me, but to be seen in it, in my wholeness. And then it's not a place where you have to abandon your own truth for the sake of peace.
So good.
And it's not a spiritual contract that overrides your lived experience.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then just marriage is not a performance. And it's just about being you and your authentic expression and being seen in that and choosing to do life with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I learned, Darcy, that was also like mind blowing to me. I remember the day that I like had this very keen and deep awareness come to me that all these years I was trying to like I said earlier, kind of a forcer in regards to like, I like things this way. I want things to be this way. Like, I thought I was just being a good communicator. I thought I was being like, hey, this is how I want to be loved, Darcy.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I need to be loved by you.
Mm-hmm.
And the day that I realized and kind of gained this awareness around the truth that your Darcy's authentic love for me
Mm-hmm.
was far superior to what I was trying to make happen.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful, but again, difficult, like painful, a lot of grief.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize, when you gain that awareness that, holy cow, I've been like doing this all wrong.
Yeah. We both were just doing the best that we could.
I know.
But yeah, I understand the grief.
Yeah, I'm just sharing my experience. And one of the most important things that I've learned over the last few years and what I hope will benefit the listener is that, like you said, marriage or whatever your relationship looks like with your person is this sacred container. I view it as like the training grounds or the dojo or the laboratory for you both to heal, for you both to unbecome everything that you had to become, to unravel, to unwind, and to do the inner work, and it's a sacred thing.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, the epitome of spirituality for me is our relationship. That is spirituality for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think something that you touched on, Hun, was when you, as a listener, if you're kind of reflecting on your relationship, on your marriage, is your love coming from a place of survival or is it coming from a place of connection? Because survival love demands, it forces, it controls, it manipulates. Connection comes from a place of freedom and expansion and emotional witnessing and holding space for each other, being fully present with each other. Yeah, so much we can discuss.
Yeah.
And our time is running short. But
Yeah.
I think with that, Do you want to announce what we have coming up?
Yeah, I do. So we have, this is a big year for us. We are celebrating this year our 25th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it would be super fun if we invited 10 couples to a 7,000 square foot luxurious cabin in Bryan Head, Utah, to join us in a couples retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So we are announcing that we are planning a couples retreat where 10 couples will be joining us in this cabin. It will be 2 nights, 3 days of hands-on learning about a lot of the things we just discussed, about how you can take your marriage to the next level, meaning how you can turn your fear into love, your attachment into authenticity, your
how to create safety in relationship.
Yeah, how to create safety,
connection,
Yeah.
heal sexual wounds, how to connect to self, thereby being able to connect deeper with your partner.
Yeah.
We'll teach nervous system stuff, somatic embodiment stuff, how to do properly rupture and repair work.
Well, and also, how to go from what we kind of spent the first several minutes of this podcast talking about with the media and the songs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What really is codependence,
Mm-hmm.
how you can turn your codependence into sovereignty.
Yeah.
Marriage, Darce, is really this incredibly beautiful yet very, very complicated dance between sovereignty and connection.
Mm-hmm.
They're not luxuries, they're needs. They're human needs. And there is a way for them to live together.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to be both sovereign and connected.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things that we're going to go over at the retreat are going to help these 10 couples, things that we've had significant help from and benefited from greatly.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go over at the retreat too.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast.
And there will be dancing.
We will definitely get down. We will get down, you guys. So,
because you heal through fun too.
yeah. Well, yeah. The opposite of trauma is play, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're ready to take things up a notch, like a big notch,
Mm-hmm.
if you're ready to have more laughter and fun and singing and dancing and just really deep connection with your person,
Mm-hmm.
we hope you will join us. It will be in mid to late December. I'm sorry, not December, September.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. It'll be September 19th through the 21st. And
We'll put a link in the show notes.
yeah, let's link it up in the show notes. That'll take you to a website that you can fill out an application for. So, let's see. Is there anything else we want to touch on, Darce?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yeah. I just want to maybe finish up with another quote that I love. Can I?
Yeah.
So there's a guy I follow on Instagram. His name's David Dayan Fisher. I love him.
This guy.
I love him. He's so good. And he had a quote that I loved. And he said, "The greatest blindness of a human is to use as a Band-Aid for their abandonment wound, love."
Mm.
And that just, kind of like, for me, that's very impactful, because that says so much about my experience. My lived experience was I had all of this unconscious wounding,
Mm-hmm.
all of these patterns and this conditioning that I was on autopilot on. I wasn't aware.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to soothe that and make me feel better, make me feel safe, and make me feel okay, I was trying to put a Band-Aid on it. And I was calling that Band-Aid love.
Mm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And to come into now what I know to be love, and to feel this deep connection with you and myself. I can't emphasize enough, for me and my journey, and I believe it to be true for humans in general.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that you can truly deeply connect with another human being
Mm-hmm.
is if you are deeply connected to self.
Amen.
And that is what we're gonna go over a lot of things at the retreat that will deal with that, and how to connect to self on a deep level, and therefore connect to your partner. Love is it's a totally different ballgame when it comes from wholeness, rather than attachment, rather than need, rather than fragmentation and wounding.
Yeah, you can't.
And protection. Mm-hmm. When it comes from wholeness, you no longer force or need love in that way to make you okay. You invite it in for you to be expanded.
Mm-hmm. You can't create from lack.
Yeah.
You can only create from wholeness.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Did you want to ask the question to end the episode?
Oh, we're going kind of long, but
That's
that's
okay.
okay. Okay, Brand. I knew this question beforehand, but you didn't. Or I can't remember if I told you this, but not. Okay, question. What do you wish you could have protected me from if we could go back in time?
This one's really, really easy for me, actually. If we could go back in time, keeping in mind that I believe in divine timing. I believe that everything happens for a reason in its appropriate time. Mm-hmm. And I really try hard to live from a place of no regrets, because I do believe that every version of me was doing the best he could. Mm-hmm. But if I could Marty McFly it and go back in time in the DeLorean, I would protect your heart from my shadows and from my ego. I always had the most sincere and genuine and just the strongest desire to provide and protect you, provide for and protect you. I just didn't realize until fairly recently that the greatest protection I can offer you is the protection of your heart from my shadows.
Thank you. That was good, hon. That was so good.
How about you? Are you going back in time too?
Yeah. I would protect little Brandon from ever not feeling good enough. And from ever not feeling fully loved and fully seen. I would love that little guy so much. I think a few months ago you asked me what my biggest dream or biggest desire was. Or maybe it was a year ago, I can't remember, but I said that you would just love yourself. So I would make sure little Brandon always felt so loved.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. All right. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. And we, again, invite you to check out the link in the show notes if you're interested in our retreat in September. And until next time, we will see you soon. Thank you.
Free to be me, free to sing sweet feathers and let me like a hug, whispering melodies.
The Safe to Be Seen podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Darcy and Brandon Burke do not claim to be experts. We have no intention to defend our beliefs or impose them onto others. This podcast provides a space to allow for us to share with others what it's like to be us. We desire to share our human journey with others. We advise you to seek professional counsel, therapy, and/or treatment from trained, credentialed, and certified professionals for any emotional, mental, and/or physical conditions you may be experiencing.